Can y'all hear me? Just want to make sure y'all hear me. All right, for some reason, the software I'm using is not bringing up your comment. Okay, here we go. Y'all good? Y'all could hear me. Okay. So it's an exciting time, Niner fans. It's exciting. Okay, I had to hop on this live stream because boy, oh boy, John Lynch, he isn't done. He's not done this offseason. He's just getting started. Okay. So I know a lot of you guys are excited, just like I am. But here we go. Niners moved up from 12 to 3. Are you kidding me? Now, before, I was like, what would it take to move ahead of Denver, ahead of Carolina to try to get, one of these top guys, one of these top quarterbacks? Well, John Lynch and company moved up with the Dolphins, who, by the way, that's just the perfect team to move up on. I mean, the Dolphins aren't looking for a quarterback. They believe in Tua. They still wanted, maybe they still want to draft one of those top wide receivers. So after this trade happened, they moved up with the Eagles. But Niners are giving up the 12th spot, giving up I believe the third round pick is next year, not this year's third round pick. And they're giving up the next first round pick in 2022 and 2023. That's a lot to move up, but they obviously believe in a guy in this draft. And we just saw Zach Wilson pro day, he's looking pretty solid. Now, I do think the Jets are taking him at number 2. So it begs the question, who do the Niners believe in? Which guy did they see and are just like in love with them? Let me know. Let me know, because I'm still curious. Give you my thoughts. Angel, it's a happy day for sure. Yep. I mean, it just like nonstop. Niner news, nonstop free agency, and now we get into the draft. The Niners are getting busy, man. John Lynch is having a heck of an off season here. Now, it really just depends. It really does. It depends on who we're going to pick at number 3. Because the way I see it, right now, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is number 1 overall. We expect him to go to the Jaguars. And then the Jets, I want to believe that they believe in Sam Darnold, but my gut tells me they're trying to ship him out. That could be New England, that could be Carolina, it could be other teams. But I think, especially after watching Zach Wilson's pro day, that it's hard for me to believe that they're not taking Zach Wilson number 2 overall. That's just it'll be criminal for them not to do that. I hope that's not the case, because I love me some Wilson. I like, if he falls to 3, it'll be just like the best. It'll be the best thing that could ever happen to the Niners. But I do think now, looking at it, the first 3 picks could potentially be all quarterbacks. Ernesto, Niners drafting a quarterback. Yes, they are. You don't make this move. You don't move up just to pick up a tackle or a receiver. That'd be so dumb. You move up to get a quarterback. So, but the question is, which one? Which one is it going to be? Because right now we're looking at Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Some even say Mac Jones. And look, I was one of them that said, if he's there at 12, pick him. But it's different when you're at number 3 now. You can't pick. I don't know. I'd be hesitant. I don't like Mac Jones that much. Maybe they like Justin Fields. That name's been thrown out there a lot. But my question with that, and I know a lot of people brought this up in the NFL Network, is Justin Fields hasn't had his pro day yet. So, it's curious that they're doing this now. Mac Jones had his pro day. Trey Lance had his pro day. Both pretty solid, by the way. I don't think there's been a quarterback who's had a bad pro day yet. I haven't kept up with the rest of the guys, but in terms of the top 5, nothing yet. Justin Fields, we're still waiting on. We getting Wilson or Fields for sure. That's kind of the pulse right now. We're getting Wilson would be the dream. Fields is more likely. And I'm not a big Fields guy, but if Shanahan could just get a quarterback, they can, obviously help the young man become something great. He's done it with so many mediocre quarterbacks. It's not even funny. Trey Lance is another guy whose name keeps coming up. And it'll make sense because they don't want to say that we're moving on from Jimmy. They're trying to keep him. But at the same time, it really just depends who they get. I think Fields is more ready than Trey Lance. But if they happen to go with Trey Lance, then you're looking at a project the first year. You're going to have to develop them. There's no question. A lot of you guys, Lance, it is. A lot of people like Lance. Justin Fields. Top 3 quarterbacks right now, I'd have to say, obviously, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. But the third one is the tricky spot. People have it varies from Trey Lance to Mac Jones. Like, it's really a toss-up, and it really just depends which quarterback you're getting and on which team. And honestly, out of the top 3 teams right now, all quarterbacks want to go to the Niners. All of them. They're the most talented team, arguably best, offensive coordinator in the game. So it really just depends on what the Niners are looking for in a quarterback. And mobility, I think, is the key thing here because that narrows it down to Trey Lance or Justin Fields. And then if you want someone with bigger upside, you go with Trey Lance. If you want someone with a lower kind of floor, you go someone with Mac Jones. Doesn't have the mobility as well as these other guys, but it's going to be it's interesting to see. First of all, great move for the Niners, jumping up to number 3. That's hard enough. 9 spots ahead of like 3 other teams that are looking for a quarterback, and you're at 12. That has to be tough. And the Niners kind of did pay the price on that. They're giving up essentially 2 future first-round picks and a third-round pick. But man, if you could just find that guy, you'll be set. You think the Jags pass on Trevor Lawrence? I guess I'd say this. I don't put nothing past Trent Baalke. Let's see here. They say they believe in Sam Darnold, but we said the same thing about Jimmy. So I see the Jets taking Wilson, but I don't mind Justin. Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces here. We are not 100% sure what the Jets will do, but if you really think about it, that deal that the Niners made for trading up, they could have easily gave that to the Jets. They could have gave them future first-round picks, but I'm sure they had that conversation, and Saleh and the Jets front offense turned that down. It wouldn't make sense for them to move up to 3 and then try to move up to 2, but we'll see. I guess You know, you can still package something up with the Jets. It may cost you a player. May cost you a player. I'm not saying Nick Bosa, probably Fred Warner, but I wouldn't make that deal. I'm sorry. I love Warner. Oh, we don't end up with Justine Field. I don't know if that was accidentally put as Justine, but Justin Fields, to me, he's a little late reading the field. That's what I see. I mean, I'm just a normal guy. I'm an average Joe. I'm just a fan at the end of the day, but that's kind of what I see. Trey Lance is all over the place, right? He sometimes doesn't even read the field correctly, but they both, in a sense, panic in their own right. They have the athletic ability to overcome that. I think Trey Lance is the better athlete at the end of the day and is more built like, Josh Allen. People compare him with Josh Allen. I see the comparisons, but he just needs to do a better job reading the football field, man. And he's inaccurate at times. So this is why it's a little dicey for me. Depending on who they pick, there's going to be I'll tell you this. This may surprise people, but the more pro ready right now is Mac Jones. His play, his game translates to the NFL a whole lot better than Trey Lance and Justin Fields. And the latest guy who had his pro day was Mac Jones. Alabama's pro day was literally, what was it? Earlier this week, right? His game translates to the NFL a lot more. He doesn't have that splash, speed, mobility, has a cannon, has the accuracy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners pick Mac Jones. I know that's crazy, but Shanahan loves a quarterback with accuracy, with consistent play. And Mac Jones is, he's built up there. He has a dad bod, but he could take some hits. So don't be surprised. Mac Jones, number 3 overall. I know it's crazy, and I love Mac Jones. I said, he falls to 12, you pick him. Now we're talking about number 3 overall. That's a whole different ball game. You're saying this guy is rated third best quarterback, third best player in this draft. That's why we're picking him. We have a lot of film to cover, guys, a lot of quarterback talk to cover. And it was funny because I was ready to put up a breakdown, which player outside a quarterback should the Niners pick at 12. And then this news drops. Changes. Think it's Wilson. We'll have to wait and see about that. I think Fields is good because Kyle worked with RG3. Yeah. I think Kyle can make any quarterback look as good as they can, as good as they'll ever be, right? But also you have to consider that they still have to perform on that field. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, we've seen his peak, but that's as far as he's going to go with it. He needs that. He needs those weapons around him, everything around him to be nearly perfect in order for this to work. It's pretty clear. The Niners just want something to either plug in for this year, trade Garoppolo, maybe in the draft to the Patriots. You never know. Or to, kind of just groom this young quarterback, play Jimmy this year. We'll see. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. We moved up to 3rd because we probably know which way both Trent Baalke and Robert Saleh are going. Yeah, I think so too. I'm pretty sure that 3 quarterbacks are getting taken off the board in the first 3 rounds. Again, if for some reason the Jets decided, you know what, we're not going to draft a quarterback, we're going somewhere else. Why didn't they take this nice deal from the Niners? They get 2 future first round picks. But again, maybe they like an offensive lineman? I don't know. But they were there today at this pro day. I'd be shocked if Wilson is still there at 3. Fields and RG3 are pretty different styles of player. A little bit. It was accidental, but yeah, Ohio State puts the same quarterback out every year. I know something about those Ohio State quarterbacks that people are scared of, man. But I don't look into that whenever I'm looking at a player. Case in point, you could say the same thing about Mac Jones coming from Alabama. Zach Wilson, baby. Look, this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Wilson falls. Like, that's the dream pick. And for those who haven't really, seen him, man, he's dynamic. Don't say that, coffee break. If we move all the way up for Mac Jones, I'll be depressed. I know I get that a lot. And I understand that. But I just, quarterback doesn't always have to be about flash. Just has to be, can you put that ball in the right location and let your playmakers make the plays? It would be disappointing. I don't think Mac Jones deserves to be the number 3 overall pick. But we'll see, man. We'll have to wait and see. It's just been chaos. We've seen crazier things. I'll leave it at that. What about the Niners getting the top corner? I don't think there's a corner deserving of the number 3 overall pick. You could get a solid corner at number 12. And I think if that was the plan, the Niners would have stayed put. Sure, the Jets are getting Wilson. Many of the Jets' top execs, where I'd be at, BYU at Pro Day. I'm in on Fields. Yeah. Still can't get over the egg Field laid on the championship game. Yeah, hope it's not him. And, you go back and watch some of that Clemson game too that they had. There were a lot of opportunities the defense missed for Clemson that could have gone the other way, but Justin Fields just made the plays. It's a coin toss for me. For me, if it's not Wilson, if the Niners don't get Wilson, you can literally just flip a coin about my feelings. Whether that's Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, I'm lukewarm. At number 3 overall, that's pretty steep. But if the Niners are just that committed to get a quarterback because they're just tired of Jimmy, then so be it, I guess. Yeah, Jets are most likely eyeing Zach Wilson. Yeah. Jeff Okudah flashbacks. Yeah. I mean, Jeff Okudah was, ranked, a lot of people ranked him number 1, right? Last year. Where did he end up going? Number 3 overall? Something top 5, I'm sure. But I don't think there's a corner that deserves to be, top 3, top 5 at that. But quarterback it is, guys. Quarterback it is. And we have a lot to cover. We have a lot to talk about leading up to the draft. It's just been a roller coaster ride, to be honest with you. But what makes this interesting is that the Niners were able to move up 9 spots and potentially get a franchise quarterback, something that hasn't been done since, 2005 when they drafted Alex Smith? When we thought that we drafted the franchise quarterback at the time. It's been a long time. And this is kind of the first time John Lynch and Shanahan are potentially looking into a quarterback this high. In the past, it's only been defensive linemen, offensive lineman, linebacker taken in the first round. Now they're changing their plan. They're going after a quarterback. It's going to be pretty interesting. We'll finally get to understand what the Niners like in a quarterback. And yeah, I mean, this is more so, I think, Kyle more than anything. I think he wants someone who can drive his Ferrari out in that field. It's crazy. All right. Any questions? Any questions? I guess I'll leave it up for questions. Let's see. It just makes no sense. The 49ers supposedly have no plans for Jimmy G. I think the problem with the Niners have to say all the right things right now, right? They don't want to make it seem that Jimmy is on the trade block because, for one, you lose a little bit of leverage when you say that. When you say, Jimmy, he's going to be here, he's going to be our quarterback this year, someone who really wants Jimmy, like New England, is going to have to give up more draft capital or whatever in order for them to make the trade. And for me, that's kind of where it's at. It's like the conversation I had with Leo in my podcast. Was like, it's a game within a game. You have to make sure you're not showing your hand that much. So I believe him when I read he's our guy this year, because I really think at this point in time, they don't want to draft a rookie and have him, lead the charge week one. That's a lot of pressure, especially when this team is ready to go, ready to compete now. And that's kind of the thing you have to manage as a GM. If the Patriots are interested enough, we got to take it. Yeah, I think so, especially if they get their guy they want, right? Which we assume they would. That's why they moved up number 3. And so if the Patriots kind of present themselves, maybe throw in Stephon Gilmore, come on over, I can see that. That's really the only team I see the Niners making a deal for Jimmy. Makes sense for both parties. But I wouldn't be mad if they keep Jimmy. Like, let him just start this year, depending how the season goes, and just develop the young quarterback. Sounds like only 2 quarterbacks, really good picks. Well, it just depends when you're taking them. I would be comfortable taking like Justin Fields 10, 12, but maybe the Niners thought he'd be way gone by then. It's all about the value and what you're giving up to get your guy. But that's just me. I'm sure the Niners think differently. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy is still a week 1 starter, because, again, you're putting a lot of pressure on a rookie quarterback coming in. This team potentially has Super Bowl expectations with who they re-signed and everything. That's a tough sell to anyone in the NFL. Why not Rosen? I think Rosen is just there for security reasons, just in case. We just need camp bodies at the end of the day too. So we'll see. We haven't seen him play in a Niner uniform yet. If you had to pick between Fields, Lance, or Jones with the 3rd pick, who do you select? That's what I'm still thinking about, guys. Like, I'm really just still like, who am I going with? The more popular one is Justin Fields, but One thing I've learned is you don't want to just go off the popular pick. And my gut tells me Justin Fields isn't deserving of the number 3 overall pick. My gut tells me not even Trey Lance. A lot of people admire Mac Jones. So if you had to like put a gun on my head and say you have to pick one, Mac Jones. Did you guys hear that? I guess Lance. He has the biggest upside out of all of them. I'm telling you. Trey Lance, if he can just like read the field, like when the game slows down for him, he's perfect. He has the ability to move, throw on the run, strong arm, accurate at times. Good to work on it though. But he has the biggest upside. Number 3 overall. Again, you'll be asking a lot. Hey, Coffee Break, I watch you all the time. Do you think the Niners make a move to add a free agent wide receiver? I think they draft one. Maybe second round. You get some good value there. Second round. I think they draft one though. I just feel like it'd be asking a lot to sign a free agent at this point. Wide receiver. I don't know who's really out there also. We need more of a slot guy. And I think that it'll be easier. And Kyle Shanahan just loves drafting his guy. So I think they'll be drafting one. Eric Schultz. Wow. I know. You guys are going to hate me. I would rather have Trey Lance if it came down to him and Fields. Yeah. Trey Lance. Again, though, we're talking about number 3 overall. Number 3. I'm hesitant, man. I'm really hesitant. He's going to be compared to all those other guys, and if it just never works out, it'll be a bigger bust than Solomon Thomas. But we'll see. I mean, I still have to watch. I have a lot of catching up to do on quarterbacks, to be honest. I watched them early on. Trey Lance only got to play like one game last year. So there's really not much to go off. And, Justin Fields, I was able to watch like only like one full game of his and like half of another. So I'd have to like really watch to determine that. I've watched a lot of Mac Jones though, because during the season I watch a lot of Alabama football. And man, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, he's more pro ready. He's more pro ready. Do you like the 49ers move to trade for the 3rd overall pick? I do like the aggressiveness. Why not? Like, if you believe in one of these guys, why not? Why not? And again, it only backfires when it doesn't work. Like, hindsight is always 20/20, but we've been saying this since, halfway through the season last year. Jimmy Garoppolo, he is what he is. He's always hurt though. That's the only thing. It would be different. We'd probably have a different conversation if Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't hurt all the time. But since he is, this is what the Niners are doing. They clearly want another quarterback. And I like it. Go Niners. For this price, they should have just gotten Watson. Yeah, well, Watson is in a little bit of a legal battle right now. So I can understand why the Niners are just looking to draft someone. Plus, it's cheaper. You get a young quarterback on a rookie contract, that's just way cheaper. Watson, though we know what he is now, he's a great quarterback. He's going to cost you that and a lot of money, more than Garoppolo. So I can see why the Niners are just looking at. Plus, this is a great draft for quarterbacks, right? Just from a perspective standpoint, this is a great quarterback draft, considering what we had last year. So, and last year there were some good quarterbacks too. Surprisingly, Justin Herbert. I wouldn't put it past the Jets and Jags to go defense. I would be surprised if the Jags would go defense, but we've seen crazier things. Trent Baalke, baby. Trent Baalke, we know what he brings. He brings ACL players, injury players. I'd be really surprised if either of the two teams go different than like a quarterback. Hell, I'd be. You know what would happen? You know what would be interesting if like I just thought about this. If the Jags took Zach Wilson because they thought he was the best quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence drops, and maybe Robert Saleh is like, I don't know. I don't know about Trevor Lawrence either. Goes a different direction, and then he's there for the Niners at 3. That would be crazy. That'd be insane. But anything could happen on draft day. Like we've seen it throughout the years. Like players fall, players like get drafted way early than we anticipate. It's just a crazy, crazy event. That's why fans love it. And so all these, I guess, suggestions that we're getting here on the chat, anything is possible. We can't read minds. We don't know what the other teams are thinking. But I'll tell you this, the Niners are putting themselves in the best possible spot to draft a top guy. And for that, look, tip my cap. Facts, we should have just went after Watson. And again, we don't know what's going to happen with the legal battle situation. Maybe if that wasn't happening, that would be, that would make the most sense, right? Get Watson. I think because of that, the Niners just decided to go elsewhere, unfortunately. I know a lot of folks wanted Watson too. Rondell Moore, got some catching up on the receivers too. Telling you, I was ready to put up a video talking about who are they going to pick at 12 outside of quarterback. I was looking at corners. I was even looking at edge. Guys, I was just going on one of these rabbit holes, watching some guys that people have never heard of. All that just to, just to have some breaking news, and Niners move up to number 3, which, hey, so be it. Me either, Cody. Me either. But I think that it's not about being desperate either. I look at it like the Niners are just in a good spot with how the roster was set up. What they were able to do in free agency was just rebuild, reload, right? And I really do think that they believe that the missing ingredient is quarterback. Like what's going to put them over the top. Because in 2019, they were dominant defense. Offensively, nobody could stop the run. But they still couldn't, get that. And I hate bringing it up. Right? I hate talking about that. It almost ruins the year for me. But it's like the Niners, the Niners know that the missing ingredient is quarterback. And we're seeing it. They probably were in on Stafford. I'm sure they were in on Watson and other quarterback, Sam Darnold, whatever you want to throw out there. I'm sure they were in on it. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the trouble that the Deshaun Watson's in because of ESPN's lousy coverage of Watson's legal issues. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those sensitive topics too. Like I don't want to speculate too much on it. I'm gonna just let that unravel. But it's never fun to be in the news. because of those issues. The Jags are going to be in the basement for the foreseeable future with Buck. Yeah. We were at Zach Wilson's pro day too. Oh, nice. You were able to see him live? I think the 49ers did the right move and moved from Watson. The worst thing you can do is sit and wait for a player. Yeah. That's kind of where they're at, you know. It's an unfortunate spot to be in if you're the Niners. Like, we wanted him, but now with this, we just don't know. The timing of this trade plus Lynch attending Wilson's pro day. Oh man, I know, Carl. It's almost like the Niners really want Wilson, and I wouldn't put it past them if they try to move up to number 2 with the Jets to try to get him. It makes it a much easier deal, easier selling point to the Jets. But it just depends, man. It just really depends. We'll have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about, to dissect here. Looking at now, I'm just looking at what the Jaguars and the Jets, outside of quarterback, what they need. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, last one before we kind of wrap this up. Watson said he is interested in the Niners and the Jets. Is there a chance that the Jets take him and we get Wilson? Nah, I don't think so, man. I think that the Jets, they want to rebuild, and it's gonna take some time. They know it. They're kind of in the spot that the Niners were in like 4 years ago. So I think it'll be asking too much to trade for Watson, and you're still rebuilding. I'm sure Watson doesn't even want to go through the years and the hassles of trying to rebuild, because that's kind of where the Texans been since he got there. So I think that the Jets would be smart to draft a quarterback. If I'm the Jets, I'm drafting a quarterback. But we'll see. We'll see. So, all right, guys. Well, this has been fun to break some news, break some good news, have good conversations. I think I'll be back on Monday, either with a live show or definitely with a podcast with Aaron from First and Faithful. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate everyone's support. And man, we have a nice weekend ahead of us with this news. So yeah, crazy Friday. News breaking on Fridays are always fun, especially when it's good news like this. Anyways, appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.